Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Gaur Chandra Nitai Gaur Chandra Gaura Hari Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Radha Sharad Bihari Radha Sharad Bihari Radhe Radhe Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Gaur Premanande
Hari.
जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय बृहद मृदंगा की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि बोल all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to when Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमान् कृतदास अधिकारी महाराज इति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome once again to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are going to read from Canto 2, Chapter 7, Verse 9. And as we all know, the title of the chapter is Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions. I apologize, Prabhu, I didn't check. You good, Prabhu? We can start?
Absolutely. Everything is fine now. You don't need to.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, we'll read the verse and then we'll do some discussions and try to take some understandings. Yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena. Devotees can recite, please.
Yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena.
Hare Krishna.
Yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else, please?
Etvenam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ cha lebhe dugdhā vasūni vasudhā sakalāni yena. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Yad venam utpatha-gataṁ dvija-vākya-vajra niṣpluṣṭa-pauruṣa-bhagaṁ niraye patantam trātvārthito jagati putra-padaṁ lebhe dugdhā vasudhā sakalāni yena. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay. We go to word meaning. Yat, when, venam, unto King Vena, utpatha-gataṁ, going astray from the righteous path, dvija, of the brāhmaṇas, vakya, words of cursing, vajra, thunderbolt, niṣpluṣṭa, being burnt by, paurusha, great deeds, bhagaṁ, opulence, niraye, into hell, patantam, going down, trātvā, by delivering, arthita, so being prayed for, jagati, on the world, putra-padaṁ, the position of the son, cha, as well as, lebhe, achieved, dugdhā, exploited, vasūni, produce, vasudhā, the earth, sakalāni, all kinds of, yena, by whom. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Mahārāja Vena went astray from the path of righteousness, and the brāhmanas chastised chastised him by the thunderbolt curse. By this, King Vena was burned with his good deeds and opulence and was en route to hell. The Lord, by his causeless mercy, descended as his son by the name of Pṛthu, delivered the condemned king, went from hell, and exploited the earth by drawing all kinds of crops as produce. Purport: according to the system of one ashram dharma, the pious and learned brāhmaṇas were the natural guardians of the society. The brāhmaṇas, by their learned labor of love, would instruct the administrator kings how to rule the country in complete righteousness, and thus the process would go on as a perfect welfare state. The kings or the Kshatriya administrators would always consult the council of learned brāhmaṇas. They were never autocratic monarchs. The scriptures like Manu Samhita and the other authorized books of the great sages were guiding principles for ruling the subjects, and there was no need for less intelligent persons to manufacture a code of law in the name of democracy. The less intelligent mass of people have very little knowledge of their own welfare, as a child has very little knowledge of its future well-being. The experienced father guides the innocent child towards the path of progress, and the childlike mass of people need similar guidance. The standard welfare codes are already there in the Manu Samhita and other Vedic scriptures, Vedic literatures. The learned brāhmaṇas would advise the king in terms of those standard books of knowledge and with reference to the particular situation of time and place. Such brāhmaṇas were not paid servants of the king, and therefore they had the strength to dictate to the king on the principles of scriptures. This system continued even up to the time of Mahārāja Chandragupta, and the Brahman Chanakya was his unpaid prime minister. Mahārāja Vena did not adhere to this principle of ruling, and he disobeyed the learned brāhmaṇas. The broad-minded brāhmaṇas were not self-interested, but looked to the interest of complete welfare of all the subjects. They wanted to chastise King Vena for his misconduct, and so prayed to the Almighty Lord as well as cursed the king. Long life, obedience, good reputation, righteousness, prospects of being promoted to higher planets, and blessings of great personalities are all vanquished simply by disobedience to a great soul. Very important point, I will repeat. Long life, obedience, good reputation, righteousness, prospects of being promoted to higher planets, and blessings of great personalities are all vanquished simply by disobedience to a great soul. One should strictly try to follow in the footsteps of great souls. Mahārāja Vena became a king, undoubtedly due to his past deeds of righteousness. But because he willfully neglected the great souls, he was punished by the loss of all the above-mentioned accusations. In the Vaman Puran, the history of Mahārāja Vena and his degradation are fully described. When Mahārāja Pṛthu heard about the hellish condition of his father, Vena, who was suffering from leprosy in the family of a Mleccha, he at once brought the former king to Kurukshetra for his purification and relieved him of all sufferings. Mahārāja Pṛthu, the incarnation of God, descended by the prayer of the brāhmaṇas to rectify the disorders on earth. He produced all kinds of crops, but at the same time, he performed the duty of a son who delivers his father from hellish conditions. The word putra means one who delivers from hell, called putra. That is a worthy son. Hare Krishna. So, in this section, these chapters, we are seeing Lord Brahmaji is explaining the incarnations of Shri Krishna to Narad. In the previous verse, we heard about the Lord's incarnation as Prashnigarbha, the personality of God with 4 hands, who gave darshan to Shri Dhruv Maharaj. Now, in this verse, the next incarnation of Lord is being discussed, which is Pṛthu Maharaj. The detailed pastime of Pṛthu Maharaj is very nicely described in Canto 4, beautifully described. So we'll try to take a synopsis here and probably try to take some takeaways. So as we all know, and we all have been hearing, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, he descends to this planet Earth and all the planets in all the universes in different forms, avatars. And all of these avatars have a specific objective. They come for a specific purpose. But primarily, the main objective is to maintain the world and to guide the jivas, the living entities, and to attract them back to Godhead, to the real home, to the spiritual world. That is the main objective. And who is the target audience when Krishna incarnates? He specifically comes for those living entities, those jivas, who want to elevate themselves, or who are trying, who are making efforts to elevate themselves in the mode of goodness. Those who are in the higher grade of consciousness, and who are receptive to the understanding of their relationship, their spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord. So I can say that with good faith that all of us, because we attend these classes every day, Srimad Bhagavatam classes, we attend temple programs, we chant the names of Krishna. So we are already on that path. We are all trying to elevate ourselves in the mode of goodness. We are receptive to the teachings of scriptures, which are not different from Krishna. So we might not be there yet as much we should be, but at least we all are making the effort. So in short, Krishna incarnates in different forms to claim us back, all of us. So sometimes either he comes himself as Krishna, as Bhagavan Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or he incarnates in some other forms. Narsingha, Vamana, various categories of incarnations are mentioned. We have already discussed. 6 main categories are there. Sometimes he comes himself or sends his, comes in the other forms, or sometimes he sends his representatives to us, like Srila Prabhupada. But the purpose is same. What is the purpose? To guide our journey back to our real home, spiritual world. And why? Why he has to do that? Why he has to come with this purpose? Because he knows that the intrinsic nature of all the living entities, all the souls, is to attain happiness. We all are looking for happiness. But we are struggling here in this material world. We made the wrong choices and ended up in this material world. So he knows that eternal happiness we are looking for, the degree, the quality of happiness, the standard of happiness we all are looking for is not possible here. So out of his causeless mercy, he knows that we can only experience that anand, right? That bliss only in the spiritual world. So that's the whole reason of all these incarnations that we are studying. So there are various categories. We will not go into all that, like Manavatar incarnation, Shakti Avesh, Guna Avatar, Purusha Avatar, Yuga Avatar, Leela avatars based on the past times. So Maharaj Pṛthu, this incarnation, he comes in the category of Shakti Avesh. What is Shakti Avesh avatars? When Krishna empowers a particular living entity to perform specific purpose, he empowers him very greatly, and when he empowers somebody, that living entity is that living entity comes under the category of Shakti Avesh avatars. And then there are two categories of Shakti Avesh avatars. One is direct, one is indirect. But that is a separate discussion. So Maharaj Pṛthu, he appeared as Shakti Avesh incarnation of Krishna in Satyuga. Now his story starts with King Vena, his father. Like in the purport, we heard about King Vena. Now the interesting thing is, Maharaj Pṛthu and his father King Vena, they comes in the lineage of Maharaj Dhruv, pure devotee of the Lord. So Maharaj Dhruv had two sons. The one elder was named Utkal, and the other one was Anga. I'm sorry, not Anga. I don't have the name of the other son, but the elder son, he renunciated this world. He was not interested in to become a king. So his other son became king. And then in that son's lineage, King Anga was born. And King Anga was the father of Vena. Now, King Anga, who appeared or who was born in the family of Dhruv Maharaj, he was a great devotee and great king, a very, very nice king. He used to perform sacrifices and he was taking care of his subjects very nicely. But he didn't have any child. So he performed sacrifices with the help of brāhmaṇas, but something didn't work out. More will be explained in the Canto 4. But in short, again, no matter what we do, whatever is being given to us in the life is decided ultimately by Krishna. So in short, what happened? He got a child, but we'll discuss what kind of child he got. King Vena, who is described as the father of Maharaj Pṛthu in these purports, he was born to him as a son. Now, since childhood, this Vena was a very special character, very, very demonic in nature, actually. He had anger issues. He was very cruel since childhood. He used to trouble everybody around him. Whenever he used to go, everybody used to just run away from him. It is mentioned he was so violent in nature that even in the childhood, that when he was used to play with other boys, and if he is upset on somebody and if he disagreed with somebody, he used to even kill that boy. That kind of cruelty he had. Very, very violent in nature. Now, obviously, King Anga, his father, was not happy with this situation. Being a devotee of the Lord, being a good king, a righteous king, he was not very comfortable with this situation. And he, of course, tried to rectify his behavior, but he failed. So eventually, being a good devotee, he took it as a mercy of Krishna that, oh, okay, if I had a good child, obedient child, then probably I would have got very much attached to him. That's the nature of devotee. A devotee will do everything possible to make the situations favorable for him, based on the morality and righteousness. But if things doesn't work out, the nature of devotee is that he will accept the situation. He will not get too much frustrated, or he will not feel too much, bad about it. So King Anga accepted the situation, thinking that it's a probably mercy of Krishna that he wants me to renunciate and not get attached to family members. So over course of time, King Anga, he renunciated and he left kingdom without telling anyone. Now, the brāhmaṇas who were there in the kingdom, who were the advisors of King Anga, when they saw the seat of king the throne of king is empty now, and that can invite a lot of trouble in the kingdom. Whenever there is no ruler, no administrator, the bad elements, the dacoits, the thieves, the irreligiosity, it will prevail in the kingdom. We always need administrator to run a state, right? So they, seeing the situation, they made King Vena, they made Vena as the king of the planet Earth. And they hoped, and they were thinking that by getting this responsibility, probably he will transform. Just like sometimes when boy is growing and he's not really listening to anybody and he's just doing whatever he wants, the family members sometimes think, let him get married. When the responsibility will come, he will change. At least that's what they hope. So here also, seeing no other option, brāhmaṇas enthroned Vena as the king. But unfortunately, he didn't change at all. In fact, the situation became more worse. See, with power, with money, with position, lot of responsibility comes. And if it is not utilized properly, it can create more problems. So here, in the case of King Vena, he became even more arrogant and more cruel, more proud. It is mentioned he became like an uncontrolled elephant. He was not following any dharma, not following any religious principles, not listening to the advisors who were brāhmaṇas, the well-wishers of everybody. He was not listening to anybody. So, out of the need for fulfilling their duties, all the brāhmaṇas, all the advisors of that king of the kingdom, they got together and they decided that we should at least try once more to rectify his behavior. So they went to King Vena and very politely, in very smiling way, very nice words, very sweet words, they tried to make him understand the duty of a king. But he was not ready to understand. In fact, he disrespected these brāhmaṇas. So, because of his demoniac nature, and to eventually to save the society and the planet Earth, brāhmaṇas had no option but to curse him. And it was a very heavy curse. They all just together, they recited, they took the blade of grass and just recited, because they were spiritually very potent, they just recited, Just by that sound, that it killed King Vena. That was the power of pure brāhmaṇas, pure devotees. So generally in varnashram dharma, which was the Vedic culture, rulers are Kshatriyas, right? And brāhmaṇas never ruled the kingdom, but their duty in the varnashram system is to guide the ruler, to guide the administrator, to advise him how not to only take care of the material needs of the people, but also spiritual needs based on Shastra, Vedic scriptures. So when we say, there are two words we always hear, Shashan and Shastra. Shashan means administration and Shastra means scriptures. They have the same origin in Sanskrit, both the words. Shash, it means ruling should be done as per Shastras. And Shastras are delivered by qualified brahmanas. They are delivered by Christ. They come from the sources Krishna, the supreme God, but they are delivered to general people and to kings by brahmanas and qualified brahmanas, right? So no matter how powerful a ruler may be, a king may be, he has to function. He's expected to function as per the rules and regulations established by Supreme God. They were never supposed to act as autocratic monarchs. Why? Because only Krishna is Swarat, who can act independently, nobody else. We see in the example of Lord Sri Ramchandra, in his pastime as King Ram, he always followed the instructions of brahmanas. Or whether we see the example of Mahārāja Yudhishthira or Mahārāja Parikshit, all these kings, the great kings, they always followed. And that's why it was always opulence, prosperity in their kingdoms. And in Vedic culture, we see these kings used to have a position, a very special position in their ministers, which was called as Rajguru. The qualified head Brahmana used to be Rajguru, the leader of all the Brahmanas, and he used to have a team of other Brahmanas to advise on various affairs of kingdom, just not the spiritual knowledge, even how to run the kingdom, how to keep people happy, how to make sure their both spiritual and material needs are being fulfilled. And this Varnashram Dharma is not man-made. Some people try to mislead by saying, oh, that was just created in India, the caste system, for some personal agenda. Of course, it became a little distorted over the period of time in the Kali Yuga, but it was not man-made, it was God-made. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma is given by Lord Krishna. Comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. And what was the purpose of Varnashram Dharma? So that different categories of people who have different propensities, they can fulfill their duties based on 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. The focus was on the responsibilities. Responsibility means we do what is our duty based on our tendencies. At the same time, we also help others fulfill their duties. That is responsibility. Not just I also just take care of my duty. No. Responsibility means collective duties, taking care of duties collectively. So there are 4 Varnas, we all know, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So Brahmanas are head of, so if we consider Varnashram as a body, that system as a body, Brahmanas are the head of that body. Kshatriyas are hands to protect, take actions, to administer. And Vaishyas are like business people. They are like stomach, who take care of, who maintain by doing business, taking care of farming, taking care of cows, taking care of mercantile, things like that. And Shudras are considered as legs, who actually work on the ground, the labor class. All 4 are important. So everyone used to follow Varnashram system in the ideal kingdom, in the Vedic culture. Srila Prabhupada mentions in one of the Srimad Bhagavatam purport, when God made Varnashram Dharma, I will read as it is. When God made Varnashram Dharma, which is strictly meant for, please hear this very carefully. What is the purpose of Varnashram Dharma? To develop animal consciousness into human consciousness and human consciousness into godly consciousness. So step-by-step upgradation. Varnashram Dharma facilitates step-by-step upgradation. So we see, in spite of having good Brahmanas, King Vena was not listening to their advice, and he got killed by the curse. So one important point comes is, who is a qualified Brahmana? The qualities of each of these four varnas are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. There comes the real qualification of a Brahmana, who can control his mind and senses, who can cultivate and practice tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, knowledge, who is intelligent, who has the knowledge of Shastras, who is truthful, who has devotion and faith in the Vedic wisdom. So Srila Prabhupada mentions the real qualification of a Brahmana is to have all these senses, but the most important quality is to have faith and devotion in Vedic scriptures, in Vedic wisdom. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example that, just like in a body, if any other limb is cut, hand or leg, right, body can still, he can still be alive. But if the head is cut, right, there is no chance, he cannot function. So just like that, although all varnas are important, but the head, the brahmanas are the most important because they are the natural guardians of society. They protect society with their Vedic wisdom. So we can conclude that brahmanas, these qualified brahmanas, are spiritual masters of the world, who guides the whole society to follow the instructions of Vedic scriptures. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is the purpose of Vedic scriptures? To know him, to know me, know Krishna. So what is the equation? The real qualified brahmanas, they are pure devotees and they are spiritual masters who can take us back to Krishna. And another thing which is very clear in our scriptures and teachings is to have a Brahmana father, meaning to just take a birth in a Brahmana family does not qualify anyone as to become a Brahmana. The main qualification of a Brahmana is to be inclined, who is interested in Vedic wisdom and who is studying the Vedic wisdom. That is the main qualification of a Brahmana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyashi Shudra Kena Tenaya Yei Krishna Tattva Peta Sei Guru Haya. Who is a spiritual master? Who is a Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava? Who knows the Krishna Tattva. Doesn't matter in which family lineage he has born. So many examples like Srila Haridas Thakur, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami. They were masters of Krishna Tattva, although they were Srila Haridas Thakur was born in a Malach family, but he became a Harinamacharya, Namacharya. And Krishna is never satisfied with Karmakandi Brahmanas that we see so much in this age of Kali Yuga. So, and Srila Prabhupada wanted all of us as devotee to become Brahmana. So one thing to understand is a Brahmana is, a real Brahmana is always a devotee. He is always a devotee of Lord because that's the purpose of Vedic scriptures, right? So as a devotee, Srila Prabhupada always expected all of us to have these Brahmanical qualities. And one very important point Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport, that Brahmanas, they never take salary. They can take dakshina, charity, but they never take dakshina because they are not under anyone's control, meaning not under the control of king. Of course, king are supposed to maintain them through charity and making arrangements for them, but they never used to take fixed salary. They were not salaried employees. Why? Because once we become salaried employees to somebody, then we are supposed to hear from them instead of, we cannot give them truthful advice, right? Or we cannot be bold enough to tell them what is wrong, what is right. We become subservient. And the example comes of Chanakya Pandit, great Acharya. he used to be the Brahmana Rajguru for Maharaj Chandragupta, but he even used to live outside the kingdom so that he is not using anything in that kingdom. And we all know Chanakya was a very, very bold advisor of Chandragupta Maurya. So now another important point comes here is when we disobey the instructions of pure souls or disrespect them, all our opulence, it is vanished. One becomes a king or gets some good life, good arrangements, good comforts in life due to past karma. But if we don't utilize all that opulence intelligently and properly, it becomes a cause for our misery. When Srila Prabhupada came to US and he was preaching to Western devotees, he mentioned that all of you are very, very fortunate. Why? Because you have taken birth in this very opulent country where you have all the comforts. You're not really bothered about eating what to eat every day. In other parts of the world, there is so much poverty. You have healthy bodies, you have beautiful bodies. But if you do not use this human life and comfort properly that has been gifted to you because of your past karmas, it will be all waste. So just like King Vena, he became a king. He got all the opulence, but he didn't utilize it properly. He was not on the path of dharma. So what is the prescription? If we have this nice human body and all the comforts and we have all the environment to perform bhakti, right? So our Acharya says, Durlabh manav janam satsange. This human body is a very rare gift, not easily obtained. So we should not waste it. It is meant to realize God, to realize self, ourselves, and what is our connection with Supreme God. So we should not waste this human form. This gift should not be wasted. So we also see one important point that comes towards the end of the purport, that King Vena was all set to go to hell and he got killed. And it is mentioned in the next life, he was born in a militia family and he had leprosy, very bad disease. So once Maharaj Pṛthu, there is a whole story of how Maharaj Pṛthu appeared that we will study in Canto 4. But when Maharaj Pṛthu appeared, once he asked brāhmaṇas about his father. So he was told that he was cursed and he took because of his bad deeds, his sins, and he is born to a militia family and suffering from very bad disease there. So Maharaj Pṛthu, he went there to find his father, and he made sure that he fulfills his putra dharma. What is the putra dharma? Just like we say, what is mantra? Mantra is manaha iti trāyate. Whatever delivers our mind, man, that is mantra. Similarly, putra is putaha iti trāyate. One who delivers from the hell Putta. There is a hell with the name Putta. So Putra is one who delivers his ancestors from that hell. That is Putra. So as long as we are not really pure devotees, we should perform all our naimittic dharma also. As a father, as a mother, as a son, as a daughter, right? We should perform our dharma very nicely. So excellent example of Maharaj Pṛthu. He goes there, find his father, and he actually brings him to Kurukshetra. At that time also Kurukshetra land was there. That's why it is called as Dharmakshetra. Very pure land, and he delivers his father. So putra dharma he performs, and so we should take care of our parents nicely, and follow our naimittik dharma. Actually, there's a very nice verse in Canto 3, Chapter 2. We were reading a couple of days back in the evening. When Uddhava, when Vidura Maharaj was asking questions or inquiring from Uddhava Maharaj remembers Krishna's pastimes. And in that he remembers how Krishna was when he met Mother Devaki and Vasudeva Maharaj in Mathura, how he was begging and asking for apology from Mother Devaki and Vasudeva for his inability to serve them, because Krishna was sent to Vrindavan, Vraj, right? So he really couldn't serve Mother Devaki and Vasudeva for many, many years. So even he was feeling sorry that he couldn't take care of his parents. This act, it is described by Srila Prabhupada in that purport, this act of Krishna makes him even more sweeter. Even more sweeter. And Maharaj Pṛthu also, not only he performed his naimittik dharma, his duties as a son, but he also, because of the sinful acts of Mahārāja Vena, earth was not producing enough grains. There was famine everywhere, right? So it is mentioned in Shastras, when the rulers are bad, when the dharma is not being followed, essentially within earth, all the ingredients, everything, all the grains, all the minerals, gold, silver, everything is there inside earth to take care of all our necessities for everybody, all the living entities, whether it's human species, animal species. But when the dharma is not being followed, then Mother Earth, she hides all these inside her because she is not happy with religious activities. So, and it is very important that we make the efforts to make Mother Earth happy. And when Mother Earth will be happy? When her husband, Bhagwan Vishnu, Bhagwan Krishna will be happy. And Bhagwan Vishnu, Bhagwan Krishna is happy when we perform yagnas. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava yaschad bhavati parjanyo yagyaha karma sambhava. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna says that everybody is depending on food grains, which are produced from rains. And how rain happened? When we perform yagna. And what is the yagna for this age and time? Sankirtan yagna. That is given to us by Bhagavan Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Prabhupada mentioned in that Bhagavad Gita purport that Sankirtan yagna is prescribed for this age. And not only it can give us the spiritual advancement and the highest spiritual advancement, but it can also save us from all the scarcities that we might face in this world. So when we have full faith and devotion in our heart, that pleases Krishna, when we perform this Sankirtan Yagna, that pleases Krishna, that pleases Mother Earth, and then there is no shortage of anything. A quick pastime I will just share. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing Kirtan every day and every morning, every day, every night, and he used to perform this Kirtan in the night in Shrivas Angan, and Shrivas Prabhu used to be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu all the time doing the Kirtan. But he had family. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once asked him, how do you maintain your family? You're always with me doing Sankirtan. So Shrivas claps 3 times like this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I'm asking you a question, how you maintain your family and you're clapping. What does this mean? He again clapped 3 times. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was now anxiously asked me, what do you mean? I'm asking you a very direct question. So Shrivas says that I have full faith that whatever I need to maintain my family will be given to me by Supreme Lord before I finish clapping 3 times. Otherwise, I will tie a big stone, heavy stone on my neck and will jump in the Ganges. So that was the firm faith he had. And hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy. He blessed him. There might be shortage in the whole world, but in your family lineage, in your family, there will never be shortage of anything. So when we engage ourselves in the devotion of Krishna nicely with full faith, that we should develop this faith and devotion. There will be no shortage for us of anything and for our dependents. So with that, there are a lot of takeaways here. I wanted to take at least 10 takeaways, but I think it's already over time. So I apologize for that. But with this, I will conclude here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Any comments, any corrections? Anyone has any questions we can take for a few minutes? Hare Krishna. Am I still audible?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare
So
Krishna,
Gosha
Mataji, please
Prabhupada.
accept my
I have to admit, I didn't even know how the time flew until you said we passed the time. I was, yeah, Pṛthu knows what I mean. I was just relishing each and every pastime. And when you said it's time, I said, oh, it's 9:01. Oh, okay. Like you said, Prabhu, there are a lot of takeaways and realizations. But I think one of my realization, and I'll just share one and give others the opportunity, when you were reading a line in the purport that if we do such and such and such and such, we can lose all that by offending a great soul. That was very powerful for me. That was very powerful for me because, it's like, that is pretty much your whole life that you... when he lists all that in the purport, and then when you read it, I said, there's nothing left after that. There's nothing left after that. So that was very powerful for me because it really shows that the lack of a better word, the power of offenses in the sense that it can really demolish our devotional creeper, I was remembering a pastime that happened in DC. This was, I think, in 93 or 94. We were having a morning class by Bhakti Swami. And I think it was a morning class, it was Bhagavatam class, and he was speaking about offenses. And he was saying that, sometimes we take each other for granted, but we don't even know who that person is. And we just loosely make offenses. And then he made a statement that, so powerful that those of us that were sitting in the class, we kept looking at each other like, who are you really? Who are you really? Who are you really? Because we were like, oh my God. And then I remember one point that I think that he said, or my senior god sister said, that's why it's so important that if we have made offenses and if we have a little drop or inkling or thought that, I think I did something wrong, just immediately say, I'm sorry. Just immediately say, please forgive me, I'm sorry. Because Krishna says, right, you can only be forgiven by who you offended. I cannot forgive you, and then you just don't go say sorry to the devotee. It doesn't happen that way. So that was a strong point for me, Prabhu, was that line that you shared, that you read in the purport, how important it is for us to be very, very careful of our offenses, whether it's, gross or subtle or loose or whatever, and just immediately say, I'm sorry, and then of course, not just say lip service, but really mean it, So, because, that purport is like you lose everything. What is there in life after that? Just by finding a great soul, So, yeah, that was one of my takeaway, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Yeah, that's a very, very strong point. And on the other hand, we also see if we reverse that statement, in Ramayana, it comes between Hanumanji and Jamvant when they were discussing. So Jamvant advises Hanumanji that once you follow the instructions of great souls or elders meaning who have more experience, then age, knowledge, glories, and both spiritual and material strength are given to that person. Age, knowledge, glories, and all the material and spiritual strength. What else we need? So that is like very, very important aspect of anyone's life.
Very powerful, Prabhu. Yeah.
Even if we are not on the spiritual path, in general also, people might lose their material wealth if they are not respecting the great souls. So anyone else would like to share anything?
That was also my takeaway at that point that you guys have discussed now. That it is really a situation where we have to be very careful. Well, I know I've heard from my spiritual master, Bhakti Swami, that offenses not only ruin your devotional devotional life, but there's just so much that one loses, so much. As you gave examples about it. And so we just have to be very, very, very careful. And he said finally that the sign of a very experienced and mature devotee is that he's careful not to commit offenses to others. Read that point, the sign. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So because I couldn't cover these takeaways that I got from this pastime, I posted on the chat if anyone is interested in reviewing them. One of them was very, very nice. Srila Prabhupada says in one of the purports, just as a cow cannot deliver sufficient milk without being affectionate to her calf, the earth cannot produce sufficient necessities without feeling affection for those who are Krishna conscious. So that was a very, very nice point that how important it is to be Krishna conscious. And it is also said what this earth is still maintained just because, although it might be a handful of devotees, but there are those devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness. Because of their strength, their mercy, the earth is still maintained. So this is very, very important to keep this Sankirtana Yagna, this chanting of names of Krishna keeps on going everywhere, every town and village. That was the reason Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in every town and village it will happen by his prediction, but we all should assist him in his mission. And then all the miseries, both material and spiritual miseries, will go away. That strong faith like Shrivas we should have. So I wanted to bring up that point also.
Thank you for bringing that up. And more takeaways on the chat. Where Krishna Prabhu was very nice to put those there. So you can just simply highlight and hit copy and then immediately it goes where you want to put it. Easily paste somewhere else. And you can read it later before, because once we get off, we lose this. So please copy it and put it some place where you can read later. Very, very good takeaways. Thank you, Prabhu, for doing that. Any final questions? If not, then we thank all of you for coming on. Have a wonderful, wonderful Krishna conscious weekend. Vancha kalpatarubhisya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
If I can just quickly interject to remind devotees about our 8-hour kirtan tomorrow, starting at 12 to 8. It'll go up to 9 or 10, the young people. So please do join us. We are providing lunch and dinner prasadam. So please, please, please spread the word, share the flyers, spread to your community, your local groups, whoever. All and everyone is welcome to sit and hear the Yuga Dharma, the holy name of the Lord. We've heard so much about it in this class. So we really want to encourage devotees to come and sit and chant. so that we can really make a connection with the Lord and his devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji, for reminding.
Right. Please come, make arrangements today so that you free your time up tomorrow and come and hear the holy name.
Yeah,
Take
even if
us
you can
back.
come for some time, please come.
Yeah,
Yes.
as much time
Yes.
as you can come.
Please. Yes.
Come early.
Thank you.
Come early, yeah, and stay for as
Great.
long as you
We'll
like.
feed you. We
Hare
will
Krishna.
feed you. You just gotta come and sit. That's it. We'll feed you. Hari
Do all
Bol.
your groceries today and everything. This we get it out of the way, the things that you do Saturday, and then make sure you come to the temple. And tell other
Hari Bol.
devotees too and your friends to come. All right, Hare Krishna.
Great.
Vancha kalpatarubhishcha kripasindhibhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. God Shri Prabhupada.